Hello, we're our Lives channel. Today we will learn about the explosive developments unfolding on Friday, October 10th, as Salem finds itself caught in a whirlwind of secrets, betrayals, and shocking revelations that all seem to trace back to one person, the mysterious and manipulative Sophia Choi. This particular episode promises to be a pivotal turning point in several major storylines, with Brady Black desperately searching for answers, Sarah Horton-Kiriaki's wrestling with a moral dilemma, and Holly Jonas preparing to make a life-altering decision that could change everything. The Chad DiMera mystery unfolds. The day begins with Chad DiMera finding himself on the receiving end of a betrayal from someone he knows all too well. The spoilers suggest that Chad gets scammed by a familiar face, leaving viewers to wonder about the nature of this deception. Could it be a simple pickpocketing incident? Or is something far more sinister at play? Perhaps someone close to Chad is stealing valuable information, documents, or even personal items that could be used against him later. Given Chad's complicated family history and his prominent position in Salem's business world, the possibilities are endless. This mysterious scam could involve DiMera Enterprises' secrets, personal correspondence, or even something related to his ongoing family drama. The identity of the scammer remains shrouded in mystery, but knowing Salem's tendency for interconnected storylines, this betrayal will likely tie into the larger web of deceit surrounding Sophia Choi and the baby scandal. Brady's investigation intensifies. Brady Black takes center stage as he continues his relentless pursuit of the truth about Tesoro, the baby at the heart of this tangled mystery. His investigation leads him to an important meeting with Johnny DiMera and Chanel DiMera, where the trio will compare notes and share their suspicions about Sophia Choi. This conversation promises to be explosive, as Johnny and Chanel have recently made a startling discovery about Sophia's manipulative schemes. In the Wednesday, October 8th episode, the couple brilliantly deduced that Sophia was the mastermind behind the salacious photographs that Johnny received from Holly Jonas, as well as the anonymous letter containing lewd and disturbing comments about Johnny that arrived precisely when the adoption social worker was visiting their home. Brady enters this conversation with considerable confusion, struggling to understand why Sophia would go to such extreme lengths to sabotage Johnny and Chanel's adoption plans. After all, from Brady's perspective, if Tesoro isn't genetically linked to Tate Black, as the DNA test clearly proved, then what possible motivation could Sophia have for destroying the couple's chances at adoption? However, as the conversation with Johnny and Chanel progresses, Brady's understanding of the situation begins to shift dramatically. The pieces of the puzzle start falling into place, and a terrifying new theory emerges. What if Tesoro is indeed Sophia's biological child, but Tate Black is not the father at all? This revelation would explain everything: the failed DNA test, Sophia's desperate attempts to keep the baby away from Johnny and Chanel, and her increasingly erratic behavior. If Sophia has been lying about paternity from the very beginning, claiming Tate was the father when she knew full well he wasn't, then her entire scheme becomes clear. She may have deliberately chosen to pin the pregnancy on Tate because of his family's wealth and status, or perhaps because she genuinely has feelings for him and saw this as her opportunity to permanently tie herself to him. The implications of this discovery are staggering, and they will undoubtedly send shockwaves through multiple Salem families. Sarah's confidential conversation with Kayla. Meanwhile, Sarah Horton-Kiriaki's finds herself in desperate need of guidance and support, turning to the wise and compassionate Dr. Kayla Johnson for a confidential conversation. The spoilers strongly suggest that Sarah's confession to Kayla revolves around the Sophia situation and her growing realization that the young woman has been lying about baby Tesoro's paternity. Sarah, having likely conducted or reviewed the DNA test results herself, would be one of the few people in Salem with definitive proof that Tate is not the biological father. However, this knowledge puts her in an incredibly difficult ethical position, as she is bound by doctor-patient confidentiality and HIPAA regulations that prevent her from revealing medical information to others. Kayla, with her years of experience as both a physician and a trusted friend to many Salem residents, represents the perfect confidant for Sarah's dilemma. Not only is Kayla bound by the same professional ethics and HIPAA requirements, but she also possesses the wisdom and compassion to help Sarah navigate this moral minefield. Sarah may carefully frame her confession without naming specific names, discussing the situation in hypothetical terms while seeking Kayla's advice on how to handle such a delicate scenario. The conversation might explore questions like, what are a doctor's responsibilities when they discover a patient has been lying about medical information that affects innocent parties? How can medical professionals balance their duty to patient confidentiality with their moral obligation to prevent harm to others? However, there's also an intriguing possibility that Sarah's confidential conversation with Kayla has nothing to do with Sophia at all. Perhaps Sarah needs to discuss her recent reunion with Xander Kyriakis and the complex emotions surrounding their rekindled relationship. Sarah and Xander's marriage has weathered numerous storms, and Sarah may be seeking Kayla's perspective on whether she's making the right choice in giving her husband another chance. Only time will reveal the true nature of Sarah's confession. But either way, this intimate conversation between two strong Salem women promises to be emotionally powerful and significant. Leo and Javi's growing attachment. In a touching subplot that showcases the tender side of days of our lives, Leo Stark and Javi Hernandez find themselves increasingly worried about baby Tesoro's future. These two men, along with the entire warm and loving Hernandez family, have welcomed the infant into their home and have been caring for him as if he were their own flesh and blood. The bond they formed with Tesoro has become incredibly strong, and the thought of the baby being placed in an unstable or toxic home environment fills them with dread and anxiety. Leo and Javi's concerns are completely understandable given everything they know about the situation surrounding Tesoro's birth and abandonment. Sophia's actions, giving birth to the baby, immediately abandoning him in a safe haven box at the fire station, and then engaging in an elaborate scheme involving lies and manipulation, hardly paint a picture of a stable young woman ready for motherhood. The last thing Leo and Javi want is for this innocent child to end up back with someone who has already demonstrated such troubling behavior, or to be caught in the middle of a custody battle filled with lies and deception. This growing worry may actually prompt Leo and Javi to take a bold and life-changing step, pursuing adoption of Tesoro themselves. Both men have already proven themselves to be caring, attentive, and loving caretakers, and they've developed a genuine emotional connection with the baby during his time in their care. Could this be the beginning of Leo and Javi's journey toward becoming parents? The idea is both heartwarming and perfectly fitting for these two characters who have been searching for deeper meaning and purpose in their lives. However, the path to adoption may not be smooth, especially if Sophia's lies continue to unravel and create legal complications regarding Tesoro's custody. There's also a darker possibility lurking in the background. What if Tesoro goes missing or is kidnapped before any adoption can be finalized? Sophia's increasingly desperate and unpredictable behavior makes her a prime suspect for such a drastic action. If she feels cornered or realizes that her lies are about to be exposed, she might take matters into her own hands and snatch the baby in a misguided attempt to control the situation. Such a scenario would throw Salem into chaos and put Leo and Javi in a position where they'd need to keep their emotions in check while working to ensure Tesoro's safe return. Holly's journey to Paris. The emotional stakes are raised even higher as Holly Jonas prepares to leave Salem behind and embark on a journey to Paris to reunite with her mother, Nicole Walker. This decision comes in the aftermath of a series of devastating events that have left Holly feeling guilty, ashamed, and emotionally overwhelmed. After getting drunk and nearly burning down the entire Salem University dormitory, Holly also made the terrible mistake of accidentally sending inappropriate and intimate photographs to Johnny DiMera via text message. Photos that ultimately played a role in ruining Johnny and Chanel's chances of adopting baby Tesoro. What makes Holly's situation even more tragic is that she has absolutely no idea she was set up. Sophia Choi was the true mastermind behind the scheme, carefully manipulating events to ensure those photographs would be sent at the worst possible moment. Holly believes she is solely responsible for this disaster, and the guilt is eating away at her, driving her decision to flee Salem and start fresh in Paris with her mother. The weight of these mistakes, combined with her complicated romantic feelings for Tate Black, has become too much for the young woman to bear. Adding another layer of complexity to Holly's emotional journey is a heartwarming moment she witnesses between Sophia and Tate at Brady's house. Despite everything that has happened, Holly sees what appears to be a tender, meaningful interaction between the teenage mother and Tate, and this sight leaves her deeply moved and conflicted. Perhaps Holly interprets this moment as evidence that Tate and Sophia truly belong together as parents to baby Tesoro, reinforcing her decision to remove herself from the equation by leaving for Paris. Or maybe she sees the genuine emotion in their interaction and feels that she would only complicate an already difficult situation by staying in Salem. Ariana's dilemma. Holly's closest friend, Ariana Ari Horton, finds herself caught in an incredibly difficult position. Holly has sworn Ari to absolute secrecy, making her promise not to reveal Holly's travel plans to Tate under any circumstances. Ari has kept this promise, respecting her friend's wishes even as she watches Holly prepare to leave everything and everyone behind. However, as Friday's episode unfolds, Ari will be forced to make a choice between honoring her promise to Holly and doing what she believes is right. The spoilers reveal that Ari will indeed update Tate about Holly's situation, effectively breaking her promise to Holly. This decision doesn't come from a place of betrayal or malice. Rather, Ari is acting out of genuine concern for both of her friends. She recognizes that Tate deserves to know that Holly is leaving Salem, especially if there's any chance he might want to stop her or at least say goodbye properly. Perhaps Ari believes that Holly's decision to leave is based on misunderstandings and assumptions that could be cleared up if only Holly and Tate had an honest conversation. Ari's motivation for breaking her promise appears to be rooted in the hope that Tate will rush to find Holly before she boards her plane to Paris. This creates the potential for a dramatic, romantic, last-minute reunion at the airport or Holly's home, where Tate could confess his true feelings and convince Holly to stay in Salem. Days of Our Lives fans should definitely keep this spoiler in perspective. What initially sounds like a devastating development, Holly leaving for Paris, could actually transform into a beautiful, heartwarming moment between the young couple. There's a strong possibility that Tate will indeed discover Holly's travel plans just in time and will race to stop her, leading to an emotional reconciliation that keeps Holly in Salem and gives their relationship another chance. The weekend ahead. As Salem heads into the weekend, Friday's episode promises to be absolutely packed with drama, intrigue, shocking revelations, and emotional moments that will leave viewers on the edge of their seats. The Sophia Choi storyline continues to dominate the Salem landscape, with her web of lies beginning to unravel from multiple directions simultaneously. Brady's investigation is intensifying, Sarah is grappling with ethical dilemmas about what she knows, and Johnny and Chanel are connecting the dots about Sophia's manipulative schemes. The baby Tesoro situation is reaching a critical boiling point, with multiple families and individuals now invested in the outcome. Leo and Javi have bonded with the infant and desperately want to ensure his well-being, while Johnny and Chanel are still reeling from having their adoption dreams destroyed by Sophia's interference. Meanwhile, Tate Black remains largely in the dark about the full scope of Sophia's deception, still believing himself to be Tesoro's father, even though DNA evidence proves otherwise. The romantic storylines are equally compelling, with Holly and Tate's relationship hanging in the balance as Holly prepares to leave Salem for Paris. Ari's decision to break her promise and inform Tate about Holly's departure could be the catalyst for a beautiful reunion or could lead to even more heartbreak and complications. The chemistry between these young characters has been electric, and fans are desperately hoping for a happy resolution that keeps Holly in Salem and gives the couple a real chance at happiness. The episode also promises to explore deeper themes about truth, consequences, medical ethics, and the complicated nature of family bonds. Sarah's conversation with Kayla will likely touch on the difficult balance between professional obligations and personal morality, while Leo and Javi's storyline showcases how families can be built through love and commitment rather than just biological connection. Chad DiMera's mysterious scam adds an element of suspense and reminds viewers that in Salem, danger can come from unexpected sources, even from people you trust. This is definitely one Days of Our Lives episode that fans absolutely cannot afford to miss. The convergence of so many major storylines, the promise of shocking revelations, and the potential for both heartbreak and happy endings makes Friday, October 10th a must-watch event. As always, Salem proves that even on a quiet Friday, there's never a dull moment when secrets, Lies, romance, and family drama collide in spectacular fashion. Make sure to tune in to witness these incredible developments as they unfold, and to see which characters will make life-changing decisions that will reverberate through Salem for weeks and months to come.